Two military jets are closing in on a passenger plane above the mountains. 121 people on board. A plane from Cyprus, but nobody inside is responding, nobody is moving, nobody is awake. But let's go back to the beginning, because this story didn't start at 34,000 feet. It started in a hangar the night before with a maintenance check that should have taken 10 minutes. A technician was testing the pressurization system. Standard procedure. He set one switch to manual, ran the test, packed up, and went home. The switch stayed in the wrong position. It slipped through the cracks, and nobody found it until it was too late. That switch controlled the air pressure inside the entire aircraft. In the wrong position, the cabin would not pressurize automatically at high altitude. One detail, one wrong position, left behind in the dark. The next morning, 115 passengers and 6 crew members boarded the plane. Families, students, people going home. The aircraft pushed back at 6:07 in the morning. Nobody felt anything unusual. Everything looked completely normal. 13 minutes after takeoff, warning lights flooded the cockpit. Out of the blue, 6 alarms at once. The crew tried to make sense of what they were seeing, but the oxygen was already draining from the cabin. Every second mattered. Hypoxia. Oxygen deprivation is a silent killer. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't announce itself. You feel slightly dizzy, then strangely calm, then nothing at all. One by one, the passengers lost consciousness, and they never woke up. On the ground, controllers began calling the aircraft. No reply. They called on a second frequency. Silence. The plane was clearly visible on radar, still flying, still on course, but the crew had gone completely silent. Controllers were in the dark, watching a ghost move across their screens. The autopilot was doing exactly what it was designed to do. Fly the route, but the route had ended. The aircraft began circling above the mountains in a holding pattern. 121 people inside. No pilot responding, no communication, just a machine, flying itself. Military jets were scrambled immediately. 2 pilots were ordered into the air. Their mission was simple: reach the aircraft, make visual contact, find out what was happening inside. Nothing in their training had prepared them for what they were about to see. As the fighter jet pulled alongside, the pilot looked directly into the cockpit. The captain was slumped forward against the controls, completely still. The first officer's seat was empty. The pilot later said he was completely lost for words. There was simply no way to describe what he saw through that window. Then, movement. Deep inside the cockpit, behind the pilot seats, something shifted. A figure in white, barely standing, reaching forward with enormous effort toward the controls. Someone on that plane was still alive. He made it to the cockpit. Working against the clock, with almost no oxygen left in his body, he managed to send a distress signal. It was his last act. Within minutes, the engines flamed out. The aircraft had consumed every last drop of fuel. The aircraft descended into the rocky hills north of the city. It hit the ground at high speed. All 121 people on board were gone. It was the deadliest aviation disaster in the country's history, and it started with one forgotten switch. Investigators worked through the wreckage for months. Then they found it, a single component from the cockpit overhead panel. The pressurization switch still in the manual position, exactly where the maintenance technician had left it the night before. The investigation changed aviation safety forever. New checklists, new alarm systems, new mandatory verification steps before every flight. Worldwide, the forgotten switch became the switch that nobody is ever allowed to forget again. Today, you heard the real story of 121 people and one tiny switch left in the wrong position, a routine check, a single forgotten step, and one man who decided to get up when everyone else was already gone. If this story stayed with you, leave a thought in the comments. For more real stories like this one, stay with us.